Hello happy souls, this is my new project Suzuki Max Underdog Revamp, and these are all the chapters which I've categorized for this iteration project. And now we are in chapter 12, building the bike, and in that we are in part 2, and we are going to mount these things today. And then starting with the wiring kit, and this is the RR unit, and for this unit 10 mm spanner, and after mounting we can install the ignition coil unit. For this you need two 10 mm bolts, and for this the company OEM part is they have installed with two screws because the spanner access was less, and so they used screws, but I am replacing it with bolts here. And this is a wiring kit, and this is a tag for holding the wiring system, and these parts are not available, so this is the one which was not damaged, so I'm using it here. And in previous video while installing the taillight assembly, we saw how to use the electrical wiring tags for holding this wiring kit. And then talking about the wiring kit, these may cost around 650 to 750, even 800 or 850, depending upon the manufacturer, quality, and the supplier. And even the length may also vary when compared to the original one. This was longer in length, and for mounting I'm using these wire tags, and this is of big size. And one more thing is, if you are going with white one, it can withstand low temperature, but this can withstand up to 80 degrees Celsius, I think. And if you want more heat resistant, you can go with the automotive components of lorries, trucks, or four-wheeler components. It can withstand up to 120 to 180 degrees Celsius, and you can use that tag for a higher heat resistant. And add tags wherever necessary, and don't mount the wirings at the top of the frame, because when you mount the tank or a seat or other thing, it could damage the wiring system. And then after mounting all these things, cut the excess parts, and then moving to the earth for the wiring system. Actually I have installed the ignition coil first, so I forgot to install this one, so I removed and reinstalling the ignition coil with the earth line. This is a negative line. Black means negative and red means positive. And also modified this area for the RR unit and the CDI unit. I have removed it, and I have coupled these two things and mounted in the chassis with a single bolt. And this is cost reduction for bolt, and this was pretty nice, and so I adapted this. And then this is a socket for the ignition coil, and this is the one for the RR unit, and that's the earth which we already installed. And this is a carrier. This will be mounted at 4 places, and 2 at the rear shocks and 2 at the chassis unit. And we have already seen in the previous video in detail. And for this I'm using the 12 mm bolt, which was already 12 mm, I think. And at this end, sari cords will be coming, so for time being I'm installing these things, and I will modify if needed it later. And then coming to the swing arm assembly, and here this will be moving, and for protection and other things I'm using the grease here. And this is a rear bracket stay, which holds the rear brake system. And after this a spring will come. It was little rusty, I didn't paint it, so I'm packing it with grease as much as possible, and did the same for the washers. And talking about the nut, if you are replacing it with a new one, this is a special type nut with less thickness, because if you buy a normal nut, you can't you can tight, but you can put the split pin there. So buy a nut with which is lesser in thickness, and after tightening this, put the split pin and split the ends. After this, we have to put the rubber part. This is the one which protects the swing arm unit from the chain friction. And these are the bushes, but here I didn't replace it with a new one because it was good in condition, and I don't believe that these parts will withstand good when compared to the old one. And if you want to take this, I use this technique which I showed now. You have to take a socket and you have to put a longer bolt there, and at the other end put a washer which is bigger than the whole dia, and you start tightening. You can easily take that. And here this is the axle bolt and nut assembly. Grease it because these parts will be like moving up and down in the according to the shocks action. And these are the mountings where it comes. You can mount the vehicle in different way, because here these are the parts available right now for me, and others are in some of the things I have put in order, and so that I am using this method. It depends, and first you can install the shocks, and then the swing arm, the wheel assembly, it depends, and after that install the left hand side of the footrest assembly, rear footrest assembly, and put the axle nut for the swing arm assembly. Here position the swing arm and also the rear footrest assembly here, because we are not going to take the footrest assembly here, so install this in such a way. And at the top you have to mount with 13mm bolt for the rear footrest assembly. This is the one for the RH side. Here install with the 13mm or 12mm, which is convenient for you, which is available for you. And after this put the bolt assembly here, and here silencer will come, so I'm not tightening it fully, and I'm keeping it not to fall, and putting all the mountings back in its place. After putting these nuts, we can put the shocks here, and here this is a Royal Enfield shock absorbers, and I have done a modification in the bush area, so even if I mount the nuts there, it is like coming out easily, so I have to buy a new washer here. So I am leaving this video here, and we can see that in final video for mounting. And after that, here I'm installing the toolbox rubber. Here it is like all are integrated. The toolbox is mounted with this mounting bracket, and it acts as support for this, and other things are mounted with the chassis unit for the toolbox unit. And this is how the assembly comes. Here the rubber seating was little hard, so I just enlarged the space and just mounting it, because if I mount it in reverse direction, I couldn't mount the oil tank and the toolbox there, so I'm installing it in this way. And for this I have done some modifications for the side oil tank, and for this I'm using a 10mm bolt here. Actually there are 3 mountings for this side tank. These are the 2-1, and another one comes with the outside RH side box. That is a third mounting. It is commonized with this, and other 2 mountings for the side box is near the bolts. You can see that. And after this we can mount the battery clamp. Here previously it came with a battery box, but the painter have missed the part. I have completely searched, but we couldn't find it, and then I bought this bracket type battery box here. And for this, one top mounting with 10 mm bolt and one at the bottom. This is the one which was rusted, and we have welded it and have re-threaded and created a new mounting here. And after mounting these things, we can mount the battery here with the battery belt will come. And this is the final connection. And then moving on to the front part, this is a cone assembly top unit. And first we have to assemble these things. And for this, this is the part which is mounted at top and bottom for the risers. And the top part is like made of steel type washer kind, and inside the rubber mountings are there. These bolt assemblies will be mounted inside these risers, and it has an impression of the bolt assembly, so inside it will be automatically holded. And then at the bottom we have to install it with the washer and the nut assembly and the split pin. While tightening it, the risers may rotate, so you have to mount according to the handlebar position. So I'm taking the old handlebar here and putting the upper part of the clamp unit for the handlebar unit, and tightening with the bolt unit. If you put this thing, you get the position for the mounting unit, and then we can easily tighten the bottom part so that it won't rotate. And I have missed the split pin here because it was not available right now, and I will be mounting later when it is available. And you don't forget to install the split pin here. And now the upper part of the mounting is ready, so we can remove the old handlebar unit. And I'm planning to go with Shogun handlebar here, because that was a little bend, and it was black in color, so I'm planning to go with that one. Finally I got the split pins from the fan assembly, the ceiling fan assembly. And split the ends to protect the bolt assembly. And this is a cone set assembly, and here I have already removed the bottom part of the cone set assembly, and grease every part so that it will easily go and reduces friction. With just a screwdriver you can take the old bearing. If not, you have to take the part to the lathe or the welding shop or the tinkering shop. There they will heat and they will take the part, and after this it will sit at the bottom. And if you find any gap, hit a little at the corners, not to damage the seating of the ball bearing which is going to mount in the cone assembly. And about that, this is the top part of the cone assembly, and here it mounts with the chassis unit. Give it a little tap, or if you take hit at the center, it would damage the seating of the ball bearing. And this is the bottom part of the cone set assembly. Here I'm using a wooden part so that it won't damage. This is a special tool which we have to use for installing. And this is a top part you have to install, and you have to check whether which suits you. And I'm explaining it with the old ball bearing set assembly. And we have installed the upper part and the lower part of the cone assembly, and for extension and other things I have added some ends, there are many configurations you can use, whichever is convenient for you and which suits your bike, you can use it. And after that you have to tighten it like this, and if you want, you can hold at the top and you can compress. It's just like a nut and bolt assembly with a longer type. It evenly compresses and makes the bearing unit to seat there. After tightening these things, you can easily unmount it. And after that we have to put all the balls, the racers, in this place. And before that you have to grease these things. And for greasing, I'm using the Castrol brand. You can also use a synthetic type or some other brand. There are many colors, and I don't know the great quality and other things. I bought this Castrol unit, so I'm using the Castrol grease here. And if you put greasing like this, the ball will sit here, and so you can easily mount all the things. You can just dip your hand in grease, and so that the ball will sit in your hand easily, and it will be like sticky, and you can arrange from top to bottom or bottom to top. Main concept is these balls should be in outer position, and you have to spread the grease evenly after packing every balls, and do the same for the bottom also. You won't find any gap here. And after this, grease the bottom part also. After doing these things, we can mount the cone set assembly. Here, before mounting this cone set assembly, you have to install the side lock unit, or else you can't install after mounting the side lock unit. Then this is the top part, and the bottom part is already mounted to the lower part of the cone set assembly, so we can directly mount it. And after this, this is the tightening part. Just give a hand tight, and that's enough for this one. Check for the free play, free rotation and other things. If you over tight, the ball sound would vary, so just give a hand tight. If needed, a little extra is good. And this is a dust cap cover, and we can see other things in next video, like installing the fork assembly.